It's a Wednesday on YourView. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Obiajulu Ubo. We're loving your hair.
Thank you. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. So my body is a bit confused
Okay.
right now because normally I used to take afternoon naps, my power naps.
Oh.
I do like 2 hours every day.
Now you're in the office.
But now, after the show, I resume in the office and I can't take naps. And my body is just trying to. So I noticed that from 1 p.m., I usually get sleepy,
Yes.
you know. But then after like 30 minutes, it wears
But
off.
your
and
office,
then,
you can get a couch or something.
No. I want to take my body back to the natural clock. Because
Okay.
normally I don't sleep at night. I work at night and then sleep during the day.
Yeah.
But now my body will have to
Adjust.
adjust to the natural, So
Yeah.
I work during the day like normal people.
And
then
sleep
I
at night.
So it's
Cool,
going to take me a
cool.
while, but I'll adjust.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Nima.
Thank you.
I'm grateful to God. So I've not mentioned it. We've moved to a new place, Sinosure Law Firm. We moved.
nice.
So we spent some money putting things together. I've finished. I went to the office yesterday. I just sat in my own office.
Nice.
Feeling good.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
it's not like a lawyer's office. Yes,
Nice.
it looks the part. And my husband says he will reward the way he's supposed to reward. I'm just happy.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Congratulations to my partner as well.
Yeah.
They are in the outer office.
Yeah, the madam.
Yes. Hi,
madam-
Mariam.
I'm fine, thank you. So for the past nearly 5 or 6 days, I haven't had light in my estate.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, everyone was screaming and shouting at the Eco District,
Eco Disco.
disco. But is that there were vandals that had tried to steal a cable that is like a feeder to our own community. And that's it. It was just fellow Nigerians like me and you that decided that, you know, I was not going to have light because for whatever reason they thought they should steal that. I heard, not quite confirmed, that they had died in the process of trying to steal that cable as well. So, you know, they're trying to sort it out. Hopefully light will be back today. But it just shows, you know, there are consequences for different actions. I'm burning diesel, petrol, everything just to have light, even for short hours, because somebody thought somewhere that they can just steal, you know, infrastructure that is meant for everyone.
Yeah, interesting. You know, because I live in an estate where that like we have electricity a lot of times, so the kids are they're used to electricity, and when they don't take light, it's as if they start complaining. Like, are you okay? We were living in Oshikomaya, and trust me, we know what it. They start complaining, acting as if it's so hot. It's so hot. I'm like, excuse you.
This is Nigeria.
Please, this is Nigeria. Look around you. Everywhere else is hot. You know, so I think sometimes, you know, we just get too used to certain ways. So we need to just have a good mix of both worlds.
We don't want a good mix of evil. We should be used to good things of life.
I don't get
Electricity is the
Sometimes
basics.
you need to intentionally, you know, put some suffering in your system.
No.
Because it helps to give you some kind of wholesomeness. That you had a little bit of everything. Because you can't just have it all perfect.
The people in the obodo, they're not whole.
The other parts of their life that is not so whole. They don't have the moral standards.
So for
the
those
basics,
those in your estate that get light all the time, or for the children that enjoy light all the time, there are other things that they are also struggling with.
Yes.
So that's wholesome.
Oh, that's wholesome enough.
Yes, it's wholesome enough. Because
add
you don't have to add
electricity
electricity
to
to it.
All right. I was good. Okay, I have a minute left. So I mistakenly paid money into somebody's account. This money is not a lot of money, but I'm hoping the person is.
Have you called the person?
Well, we're talking. She's telling me, well, I don't work there anymore. I said, well, I mistakenly sent money to your account. So I'm hoping she's, what's the right word? She's honest enough to return the money.
Is that the response you got?
No, she's just telling me that she doesn't work there anymore. That she can't deal with the school.
But he entered her account.
Yes, send her your account.
Yeah, it was so she used to work there. And I used to pay her.
No. You send money to your personal account. She knows that it was not meant for her.
Yeah,
and the response she gave you is,
that
She doesn't work there. No.
So I called her. She called me
bad
and she's telling me stuff. I'm like, okay.
Send her your
Do we
account
need
number.
to call
I'll send
her
my
for
account
you?
number to her.
we,
So
yes, we'll wait. We'll give you 24 hours later.
Please. Or we do something.
I'm hoping she does the right thing. Just
has
the right
So
thing.
Nigerians do.
That.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Government asks Supreme Court to extend old Naira note lifespan. Security, our challenges by service chiefs and IG. Wiki, I have saved 110 billion naira for FCT. 5,000 kilometers of pipelines vandalized, Kyari laments. Fake injection in circulation. 1,633 mining operators forfeit licenses. And Senate okays minority leadership in rowdy session. Okay, which story are we starting
Let me
with?
take a mini story. Well, not so mini in terms of money. The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, has said that he saved the FCT 110 billion in 3 months. He was in a high-level meeting, they say, with estate developers, and he was just talking about, you know, a lot of things concerning that sector and that industry. He said that allocation, so he was talking about certificates of occupancy, their C of O, and talks about how, you know, they give CFOs to, like, different people. So people are receiving fake CFOs. He says even he, as governor of Rivers State, for his lands that he bought about 57 million, he got a fake CFO. So this is something that he's going to work on, and he's looking for how they can sort of link your CFO to your NIN. And then he says there's some things that he'll be doing. He says many rich people will not like it, but we need to do it for the betterment of Abuja. And, you know, just so many things that he talked about. And he says that, you know, he should be supported. There's also the vice president's residence that is on hold. And he said, since he's promised that he will do it, and they know him now. He talk, say, go do him, go do him.
Okay. Let me take the NAFDAC. So NAFDAC has alerted Nigerians, particularly healthcare providers, to one batch of counterfeit Meronem 1-gram injection in circulation across the country. According to NAFDAC, they said that the production process did not meet Pfizer's specifications. The vial label compares favorably to the purported artwork design. They're saying that the Meronem injection that is in circulation can cause, it's actually used to treat skin and abdominal infections, but caused by bacteria, and it can actually cause problems for adults. So according to him, the administration of the counterfeit products will pose a higher risk to patients as the quality and safety are not guaranteed. This is according to Pfizer. So Pfizer confirmed this and saying that this Meronem in circulation injection should be avoided. And they've also given the batch numbers. They've given the batch numbers and all the various details of this specific.
So how will we know? If you are a patient, you are seeing that they bring injection, how would you know that this one is part of the batch?
So because it's actually supposed to be with the healthcare providers, so they are talking to the healthcare providers to mop it up. Yeah, not us.
Well, but also us, because I know there's something my mom has always taught me. She says when you go to the hospital, you're about to get injection, ask. What is it? And they're
you want the batch number? They'll tell you what they're giving you.
I'm just saying for us to, let's just be aware. And then you can even put it out there and say, you are aware this. Let's just make sure that it's not it. You know, government to do its part. Human, you know, single individuals to need.
I have the major headline. And so the relief we have enjoyed with these old Naira notes and new Naira notes in circulation, we must thank the governors of Kaduna, not Edo. Kaduna, Kogi, Zamfara, Ondo, Ekiti, Katsina, Ogun, and Cross River. Right. And the matter is still before the courts. Now, the federal government have joined with them and are asking the Supreme Court to please further extend. The extension ends December 31st that we have, but the federal government is asking for a further extension to March, saying that what they have now is not enough to mop out. And should the Supreme Court not extend it further, we might have Nigerians in the situation we had in December, January, earlier in this year, where we have scarcity of Naira notes and were further impoverished, or the hardship that it brought about. So I hope that the Supreme Court, with this application before them, give us another extension while they print. Right. They said they need the extension of time to print and phase it out with time. And I hope that
so
they're
still looking to printing and phasing it out with time.
Yes. Wow. So the relief I've enjoyed. Thank you to those who brought the
Okay, thank you. So the vandalism of over 5,000 kilometers of oil pipelines is a national calamity. This was said by the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. And he said the challenge triggered by pipeline vandals across the land had been plaguing the sector for decades. The company had not been able to pump oil through the pipeline from Warri to Benin in the last 22 years. And, you know, he said this during an interactive session with Senate Committee on Petroleum in Abuja. And he also assured us that the nation's 4 refineries will be made functional very soon, though he did not give us a date, but he said the federal government has assured that the refineries will be completed, I think, next month. And he says over 5,000 kilometers of oil pipelines in the country are not working as a result of the vandalism. And 10 million liters of oil was lost from volume pumped from Aba to Enugu at the time. The company also has not been able to pump from Warri to Benin within the last 22 years and cannot even connect to Ore. They've tried different security measures to curb the crime without success, and this is a national calamity. I was also hoping to hear what more they are planning to sort of solve this issue of pipeline vandalism. And it says also that they had the company had lost 802 billion before deregulation in 2018, but they made a profit in excess of 687 billion after the deregulation in 2021, and 67 million liters of oil, which was usually consumed per day during the era of subsidy, has now reduced to 55 million liters being consumed on a daily basis. And the product that has been smuggled across the borders has also become a thing of the past.
Okay, the Punch very quickly. States spend 1.7 trillion naira on trips, meals, others borrow 988 billion naira. Ghetto in Paradise, the picture story. Abuja, people's learning sheds, endure dumps odor. Vandal to die by hanging, accomplice bags 16 years. $35 billion needed to execute concrete road project, says Umahi. Sanwo-Olu denies fraud, assembly orders probe. Insecurity, military blames Forex, demands special court for terrorists. Nigeria, Germany signed $500 million renewable energy, and FG revokes over 1,600 mining licenses, vows to sanitize the sector. Okay, which story? Okay,
so the ministry, Solid Minerals Development Ministry under Minister Dele Alaki has revoked the license of 1,633 operators in the mining business. They revoked 536 exploration licenses, 279 quarry licenses, 787 small-scale mining licenses, and 31 on-mining leases across the country. Out of the 2,000 plus defaulters, so they said only 580 title holders out of the 2,213 defaulters responded to the notice by settling their indebtedness. So these licenses were revoked because they refused to remit the percentage due to government. And they said this was done by the Mining Cadastre Office recommendation that 1,633 of them should lose their licenses. He said, according to the federal government gazette that expired November 10, they are already due to have paid, and they did not return to government to pay. He considered the dues peanut compared to what their profit has been over the years, what they generate in their businesses. So,
all right, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Still reviewing Punch, another story in Punch. Who has?
Yes, so the picture story, it's just a very painful one. It showed students, pupils of Bagusa Local Authority Primary School in Abuja sitting, without, most of them didn't have chairs. They said they sit in an open place. There's a stench coming from a dump site that's very close to the school, where you have rodents, goats, chicken, flies, and insects that are competing for food. When it rains, their classes are over, everybody has to go home. When the sun shines, they're able to have classes. They also mentioned that they don't have chairs for the students. They have about 380 students in the school, and they don't have enough chairs for them. Sometimes they have to sit on the floor. They don't have blackboards. The teachers will be reading from the textbooks and shouting at the top of their voice. And, the school management is saying that this school is actually licensed, that they got their license in 2020. And it's not like they gathered themselves in public school, yes, gathered themselves to, carry out an illegal school activity, that they have a license. And I think recently some of the people from Ministry of Education had come to the school to look at it, and they have promised that they were going to do something about it, but so far they have not come back. And they said that despite over 640 million approved by the federal government between 2020 and 2023 for the construction and provision of school infrastructure, the FCT, it hasn't gotten to them. So those students are just there, you know, and one of the reasons the school is there is because they needed, most of the other schools are far away from the villages, so they needed something very close to them, and that's why they got that license. But it doesn't look good at all. The stench, you know, before there's a breakout of diseases, the fact that they're not even learning in a conducive environment, because education is not just about reading and writing. The environment plays a key role. I think government needs to look into this as soon as possible.
Okay.
I have this story. It says that the Lagos State High Court in Ikeja sentenced the vandal Clement Ododunu to death by hanging, and Theo Monday to 16 years imprisonment. And they were brought before the court because they are vandals. They were arraigned for killing 7 officers of the Department of State Services, that's DSS, in the Ikorodu area. So they said this happened September 14, 2015. There had been a kidnap of a member of a DSS, his wife was kidnapped, and the DSS had now sent a 9-man patrol, you know, group to the area, and then they were ambushed by these vandals, and then their weapons seized. They had someone amongst them who was able to call the office to say that they had been ambushed and their weapons have been seized, and obviously they also went ahead and they murdered them. So they have finally been sentenced. The report just shows us the back and forth in court, you know, with their own lawyers trying to defend them, to say, oh, they were not there, or they were just caught up in it. But the court says there were none of the evidence that was brought before it showed that they were, you know, not part of the deal. So one got hanging, the other 16 years imprisonment.
Let me take the story. Minister of Works, David Umahi, has said that the government needs $35 billion to start to complete the construction of concrete roads nationwide. According to him, he said that they're also going to be taking 16% of the steel required will be produced by a Jakarta Steel Company. And that he specifically said that the funding, which will be gotten through partnership with the commercial bank and be assented to by the Federal Executive Council. He can't do it by himself. He says that we're going into the concrete road. Many have said that the concrete roads are actually more viable and more, they last longer than the asphalt that is usually used. So he's saying that we're going into concrete road. In this concrete road, about 16% of the steel comes from, while 30% of is going to be cement. And we need a lot of money to start, but we decided to face it, and God has given them the idea to find creative ways in looking for this funding. The minister has said that he's resolved to ensure that he supports the president in the renewed hope agenda to make sure that it's good roads across the country. The Daily Sun, very quickly, Ohaneze Afenifere Middle Belt Foreign Press for State Police. Opera in Senate over appointment of minority leadership. New twist in Plato as Speaker Deputy resign. Nigerian elections product of manipulation. Cancer destroying democracy, says APC chieftain. Nigeria targets $10 billion revenue through national shipping line annually. Wike Fubara loyalists battle for control of Rivers Assembly. Nigeria, Germany signed $500 million deal on renewable energy. And insecurity, judiciary not helping terror war, says military. Okay.
Okay. I have Plato. Okay. Just because you're my friend. So, following the nullification of the governor's election of Governor Caleb Mufwang, the House of Assembly had their speaker resign, and he says it's basically on personal grounds. He did not give details. And fortunately, this has paid off because we have a young elected new speaker who is just 30 years old. He represents the Pangshin North State constituency, Gabriel Dewan. He is now the new speaker of the House, and he promises to do well for Plateau people.
All right, so I have Nigeria and Germany have signed 2 memorandums of understanding on the supply of gas from Nigeria to Germany, and another $500 million worth of renewable energy projects in Nigeria. This, of course, was given by the this information was given to us by the spokesperson to the president, Ajuri Ngelale. So the agreements are between Riverside LNG of Nigeria and Johann Schwitz, I hope I got that pronunciation right, Energy Imports AG of Germany on the gas export partnership, while the other is between Union Bank of Nigeria and DWS Group on cooperation in renewable LNG. So the project, they say, will supply energy from Nigeria to Germany at 850,000 tons per annum, expanding to 1.2 million tons per annum. And they're saying the first gas will leave Nigeria for Germany in 2026, and then there will be further expansion. They said this will extinguish the 50 million cubic feet per day of fled gas in Nigeria and open alleyways of new and greater exports of gas to Germany. So it looks, quite interesting. But as we know, with agreements like this, it will take a while to see it as this one says the very first one will be in 2026. Imagine that.
Yeah. So the service chiefs on Tuesday in Abuja said that the judiciary is endangering the war against terror. This was said during the service chiefs on Tuesday came to plenary, and the General Musa had blamed the judiciary for releasing arrested Boko Haram suspects after they risked their own lives to arrest some of these Boko Haram suspects. They take them into custody. They're there for 5 years. So we have kept them for 5 or 6 years. We have the armed forces can arrest but cannot prosecute. Some of them have been found wanting, but no prosecution. We are keeping them there for this lengthy period. Everyone is accusing us of human rights violation, but we cannot prosecute. Another aspect of the judiciary is that they use all their own efforts to make this arrest, and their own lives are in danger because those who were arrested, once they're even released on bail, they tell them, oh, this is the person that got us arrested, and then their families are at risk. So then, according to him, the South said the last ship that was arrested 10 years ago. The shipment changed its name, changed the color, changed everything, and they came back. So right now, when they arrest them, they burn them up, destroy them immediately because they find their way back to the same thing. So they are there risking their lives. The judiciary must wake up to the task to prosecute and ensure prosecution is done faster for them so that they don't have to risk their lives all the time.
So prominent ethnic groups in Nigeria, including Ohanes Zendibo Worldwide, Middle Belt Forum, the Coalition of Northern Groups, and Ijaw National Congress are backing the call by the Pan-African socio-political organization Afenifere on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to sign an executive order for the establishing of state and community policing as a way to curb the rising spate of insecurity in the country. So they made a statement, that's Afenifere, through their National Publicity Secretary, Jare Ajayi, and he said the centralization of policing is not healthy for a heterogeneous country like Nigeria, and it not only weakens the security infrastructure, but also gives the semblance that Nigeria is a unitary state rather than a federal state. And, they have, in agreement, all said that we cannot sustain having a centralized policing system. So Haneze also identified 4 levels of policing that the president should be looking into. It says the federal policing system, the state policing system, local government policing system, and other institutions having their own form of police, like the universities, that they should have a right to establish their own police, because it's now obvious that the Nigerian security architecture cannot, handle all the policing issues that we have. We need to find a way to break them down. And they cited how Amotekun has been working and very effective, and other aspects of policing that we have embraced. So they are waiting for the president to do the right thing by, establishing this community policing in different places. Okay, final paper, Vanguard. Why insecurity is not going away, says service chiefs. Rivers crisis, 2 factional assembly lawmakers hold separate sit-ins. Senate in rowdy session over leadership positions. As governor, FCTA officials issued me fake COO, says Wike. TTP truckers bicker over sale of port entry tickets, and overturning Kano Zamfara Plateau of voters' decision in court unacceptable, says Obasanjo. Okay, which story?
So I have the TTP, the MPA story. According to this, the Truck Transit Park of Nigeria Limited, which is the TTP, and the leadership of the Truck Owners Association are at war right now, and the truck owners are alleging corruption. They said that TTP is illegally selling tickets between 150,000 and 200,000, and they are the only operators of the e-call-up system, the ETO system that the Lagos State commissioned to ensure that there are no illegal parking along their roads in Lagos. leading to the port. But the Eto people are insisting that no, they sell the ticket at the right price and that truck drivers go and resell their tickets, so they make it expensive. But the chairman of the Amalgamation of Container Truck Owners Association of Nigeria, Mr. Bello Ridwan, called the name what it is. He said, this system has removed every human factor. It is a technological system. It is only CTP that can sell, and they sell at 160,000 safe to 200,000. So a system that allows you into all the entry points at the port without any human face. And you're saying that somebody resold a ticket. That CTP must be investigated for what they are doing there. Yeah, right now we have trucks everywhere again.
Yes, so in addition to the Chief of Defense Staff story that you took on what is still making our insecurity thrive, they said that they had realized that the Boko Haram people who have been arrested in the prisons are working hand in hand with the warders of some of the prisons. So what they do is they get money transferred to the warders, and then they share 50-50. So they are still able to plan attack from the prisons. That's one of the reasons. Secondly, they said the armed forces are underfunded. Sometimes when we hear they've given $600 million to purchase arms, by the time they finish buying the arms and changing the money to dollars, they don't get anything meaningful. Each arm would be like $5,000. How many would they buy with that amount? So they are quite underfunded, and the fact that those warders, and they are not saying that it's all of them that are guilty, but some of them are heavily guilty working with this Boko Haram just because of the money they want to make.
Right. Our problems are multifaceted.
We are our problems.
Let us go on a break. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, bring in our sponsor segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, the 36 states of the Federation have spent 1.7 trillion on recurrent expenditures, including allowances, foreign trips, office stationery, aircraft maintenance, and so much more in the first 9 months of 2023. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Now, today's show, we're just going to be opening up our phone lines for Nigerians to call in to share their views. You can call us on 081-076-41679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can retweet. Punch released this article saying that 36 states of the Federation spent about 1.7 trillion on all these foreign trips, allowances, office stationery, and so many others. I think the Punch had, according to the Punch, they referenced budget, and the states cumulatively spent over 800 billion naira on salaries across the data period available. Other recurrent expenditures items covered in this report are foreign domestic travels, internet access, entertainment, foodstuff, honorariums, sitting allowance, wardrobe allowance, telephone bills, electricity charges, stationery, anniversaries, and so much more. And there's another, say in the first 2 quarters, Akwa Ibom, for example, spent 92.54 billion on allowances and social contributions, social benefits, travel, transport. All the states are there, Benue, Borno, Enugu, quite a number of states across the nation have spent quite a bit on these various activities. Now, if Nigerians are looking at it, they will say, oh, it's frivolous. But others will say that this is how to run a government. These are things we need to run the system, because there are human beings in these systems, functioning in these systems, and there are activities that need to be paid for. Money is one that oils the system. So whether we like it or not, the figures might sound big, but this is what we use to run the system. What are your own thoughts? That's our conversation today. Nima, I'd like you to jump in here. What are your thoughts?
So this started trending a few days back, where the finances of Lagos State was brought out, and we had some figures that just did not make reasonable sense. So Nigerians have started talking, and this has made other states become an issue in focus. I'd like that people get on Punch today. But because of this, other states started coming out. I can quote Rotus. Rotus was talking about Delta State not having any figure. They don't even have their finances out there. So we must say thank you to Lagos State that has helped us to put torchlight on all states and how they are spending money. According to some of them, these are important monies. Cost of chargers, cost of internet charges, cost of, perfume, scented oils. These are so important that they must be spent. But are the amounts in question commensurate to the things that they are bought or, that are overinflated? And, the cost at this time when we are saying the citizens must tighten belts and live within means, and some people have become jobless, the cost of living is high, inflation is very high. We will need to force government to talk to us on how they are spending these monies. Again, I say Lagos State has an open book. The governor has come out to say that some of these were mistakenly uploaded, inflatedly, but we know that at least now we can talk to them and quote figures. Last year, Budget did an assessment of states and said that Delta was more accountable with their finances over Lagos. And this morning, I listened to Rotus, and I'm shocked that they don't even have their finances uploaded. So what are the people of Delta doing about their governors? I am very concerned. I would like to see, I have copy websites, that of Edo State, yes, how they are spending these monies that we're all hearing. Government is doing so much, MOU is costing money. We want to know what we are paying for. If citizens are paying taxes on properties that they own, on businesses that they run within a state, it's important that the finances of those states are made open to all of us, and we're able to discuss this without any bias or fear.
Yeah. You know what? This just also opened my mind to the fact that we are quite careless as the citizens as well. We don't ask the right questions. We don't know where to go. Every time we call out the Senate, they always take us back to, it's not just us, the executive as well, and we just never really put the searchlight on them. So budget, I know, do this quite often, where they tell us how money was transferred to a state, what was meant to do, and then you would see the project is not, it's incongruent with the amount that they have gotten. So for me, it is important now that Nigerians understand that we can check these spendings, what they're for, and we can call them to explain to us why these such large sums of money are going to different places. Now, I know that if a government says it spends money on travel and we see the billions, we are shocked. But if, it's so open, Nigerians will also be able to calculate themselves how much these air travels cost. And then it will also help government to understand that maybe some things that they think they're doing for Nigerians are not even prepared for it. They think it's too expensive right now, you can put it aside. We had the House of Rep member that came the other time. I was talking about the cars and how the process goes and how we need to petition government. So it's not enough that we're ranting and we're screaming. There are things that we need to do officially to sort of put a stop to some things. Having said that, Nigerian government is too expensive. It does not make sense. I don't know how I'm tightening my belt and then I'm seeing billions flying around. What are the people that are earning these monies? Like, are these contractors? Are these family members? Where is this money going to? And I know there's so much foreign exchange. We're constantly crying about the naira, the value of our naira. And some of these things, that they are imported things that we're even speaking of. So there's just so much. We have to do things differently. The cost of governance is expensive, but then we need to look at some of the things that we have to drop right now so that Nigerians will understand that this is it's a fight that we're all doing together.
So I like how two of you have said it. And while we're waiting for Nigerians to wake up, we've been sleeping for so long. We haven't asked the right questions, like you said. And now it seems like things are just, going around our heads, and we're trying to understand, where do we start from? Who do we hold responsible? How do we even hold them responsible or accountable? We need to understand that leadership is about service. And it's not the child that will tell the father that things are expensive. Daddy, don't eat 2 pieces of meat because things are expensive. The child is not the one who is running. The child is not the visionary of the home. It's the father that will look at the pockets and say, my children, oh, we used to eat 2 pieces of meat before. We are all going to be eating 1 or half one now. Let things stabilize and we'll go back to status quo. We're still operating our system of government like the boom era, where there was a lot of oil, a lot of money. Money was coming in from exporting crude and cocoa and all of that. That's how we're still running our government. We haven't come down to say we're not generating as such. We're not exporting. We have a lot of raw materials. We're not able to even convert. We don't have manufacturers. We're not doing enough to bring in money, but then we are spending, and the painful thing is we're spending on luxury goods. We're spending on things that we shouldn't even spend on. If we're looking for, okay, we need to make our office smell very nice, and we're going to import perfumes, and then why don't we meet those local? There are girls in Yaba, there are girls in Aba, there are people who locally source for these materials and make local perfumes. Why don't we use that? Why don't we use our own? When guests come to the office and everybody's serving coffee and serving all those biscuits and shortbreads and all of that, why don't we do our local biscuits here? Why don't we serve kuli-kuli? Why don't we say, Morayo, I want to even advise. Is it possible that we start pushing that some of these expenses in the public offices should be done out of pocket? When the government you're serving, right, they pay you your salary. They give you your running cost. But you see all those welfare of they are feeding, you have visitors, they are taking care of them, you're traveling, you're flying private jet. Can we do it out of pocket? So you earn your money. If you want to use your money to buy all the perfumes from Arab countries because you want to smell a certain way, can it be out of pocket? Is there a way we can infuse this? Because I remember even Obama, even in the US of A that all of us want to be like, they pay out of pocket. The government provides the basics for you to do your job. Anything extra is from you. Can we hold our government to that and see if we can save something? Because I know things are expensive, and if you break down all these billions and millions, you may even see that at the end of the day, they actually did spend it on the things. But are those things necessary for running our government? And can we pay out of pocket?
So to start is to insist all states have their website loaded.
Yes.
There's freedom of information. We must have the
As you
information.
said, sorry to pause you for a second. The reason why we're having this conversation is because Lagos State came out with a response.
Yes.
Lagos State has said, I can open my books for you. Yes, you might be able to argue and debate certain things, decisions are made. And the government said, if I even make mistakes anywhere, nobody here can
You're even talking of the response.
So
there was a book in the first place.
Yes,
That's
that somebody can reference.
That somebody can reference. You go to some states, you will not see book.
Yeah.
They will make it like if you're digging too much for you to be asking questions. So we're in a state that has huge finances. Yes, they do. But they even put up something for you to say, okay, wow, cup was 5 kobo.
Yes.
This one was 10 naira.
So I think that's where this conversation
why are we talking about only one state out of 36?
All states.
All of the states, any state right now that doesn't have those figures out there, it's a problem for us as a nation. Because these state governors, their security votes alone is not even auditable. Let the Office of the Auditor General work. Let us have somebody go and say X and X and X and O. These are not, they're not.
Let me read out a few numbers for you so that people give us and have a bit of perspective. Anambra non-salary spend was 15.2 billion as of end of Q2. Bauchi 70 billion. Bayelsa spends about 58 billion. All these are all non-salary recurrent. Those are things, all these other travel and stuff like that, training. Let's see, Benue non-salary spend 34 billion. Let's see who else is here. Cross Rivers is 43 billion. Borno is 32 billion. This all at the end of Q3 for them. Ebonyi, 30 billion. Ekiti non-salary spend was 31 billion. And quite a number. So Gombe, 24 billion. Enugu is 33 billion. Imo, 58 billion. So Jigawa is 49 billion. So the point is that we need a breakdown of what these spends are, because the reason why this conversation started in the first place, just like you said, Nima, is that Lagos State was accused of what exactly are you spending this for, and they've come to respond, and that's the kind of engagement we want across the nation, where
so
state governments can begin to ask.
Plateau State now, would they be able to show me a book and say, go to our website and check it, and you can see what I'm not.
It should be uploaded. Lagos State is even asking and answering questions and talking about some figures that were imputed wrongly.
Yeah.
Make we even reach somewhere. For instance, now I want to hear quite bomb on how they spent 10 million hosting and mobilizing political associations. which political associations were they hosting, which interest group were they mobilizing, and how come 841 million is used for entertainment at meetings? Is it the cost of like cola drinks or the cost of orange drinks?
There'll be travel, there'll be accommodation,
so
there'll
we need
be
these
snacks.
figures out there.
But you see, sometimes there was a time when I was in a conversation with somebody and they were giving me billions of how much was spent on. I was trying to Google the number on school feeding program, for example. If you hear the billions, you get scared. But the truth is that when you break it down across all the pupils across the nation, you realize that it was about maybe 100 or so naira to a child per meal. So when Nigerians hear X billion, they're thinking, why are they spending all this much money? But the truth is that if we really break it down, it comes to really, the unit costs are really minuscule.
Yes, and that was what I was saying about, so that's what we're saying, you know, I said earlier that if we even know, if we are able to go to a website or a place like that, we can then break it down. And what it will do for government, it will give them, you know, it will give them some sort of validity, you know, the way they are spending, or some kind of trust. But also, the people themselves that they are doing all this spending on behalf of will be able to tell them, you see, this amount of money that you spend is just so much. Why don't we do this instead? Why don't we use kuli kuli instead of importing biscuits for these children? Why don't we, for the school feeding, why don't we use fruits in season that are locally grown here? No, things like instead of looking for, or the people that are in charge of catering for the children, they too will be involved in making sure that you can get maybe cheaper prices. So these are the reasons why it should be put out. So it's not only to call out government and make them the bad guy. It's also to help government help us.
And also to discuss. So aside from just having the book present there, we always know that Lagos is a pace setter. They would start. They're always the first to start something, right? But that's not the crux for me. Is some of the items we are spending on, we're not right for. It's not necessary. We can cut it down. Just the way you would choose a chicken or a ball instead of a turkey, because a chicken is cheaper than the turkey right now, we can cut down on some of those things. Some of those things are what I call spending money frivolously. It's not needed, because if you're going to be paying out of pocket, you will not pay for those things. You will not use those things. But those things don't affect how you do your work. It's just largesse. And that largesse can only happen when there's a boom in the economy. We don't have a boom right now.
Can I throw an angle here? You see, there's an angle we've not talked about on this spending. You know, there's one thing about what we have budgeted for. There's a middleman called civil service. Sometimes civil service, half of the money is not going to that. So, for example, if I'm not accusing civil service. If our job is to buy this cup, you are the governor, and I say, Mr. Governor, we have to buy this cup. This cup, and I give you a budget that is 100,000 naira, right? Now, I know the actual cost is 20,000 naira. Because I'm a civil servant, I know how to manipulate the system to make sure that 100,000 naira comes out. The man that's going to buy the BC who I'm giving the contract to will get 20,000 or even get maybe 25,000 naira. Your own profit will be 5,000 naira. These civil servants, whoever he is, has already found a way to siphon. So the figure we are seeing might not actually go to the purchase. That's the middle system where we need.
So that's why
we need to have an open book. Let me be sure that I'm not accusing civil service. I'm just saying that there are certain elements that
are valid. If you like, in this same Nigeria,
some realities we cannot run away from. We know that if you want to push certain things in certain offices, envelope must go.
Yes.
So we know. But the benefit of this kind of open book is that when people start to call out, people start to reduce or even destroy cancel such corruption that will get us into this kind of hardship we are dealing with continuously. We must say Lagos State keeps open book. Lagos State is answering to us. What about Edo State? How did you people buy chair in the schools that you said you have built? What is the cost of roofing? We can vet it. We can know, okay, even if there was an increase and inflation of the money, if it's not too much, we can come out high. But the one that we cannot come out high, we will shout till we call out whoever took that money. It's important.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing transparency in governance, and this conversation obviously started when the Lagos State's books were open. Somebody went to... Mr. Funsho Doherty went into digging through the figures, and then the government has responded. And then we're looking at, yes, Lagos State was the focus. However, Lagos is not Nigeria. There are 36 states, and it's important that we have same transparency across all the nation, all the various states. And that's why we're opening up this conversation to see how we can ensure transparency.
There's a reason I am even completely avoiding Lagos State in this equation. The reason is because last administration, Governor of Rivers State at the time, had called on all South governors and asked them, where is our ecological fund and why are you suffering flooding? One of the most affected states was Delta State. And the ecological fund given to all these riverine states was huge. But did they prepare for the rains? Flood almost kicked away.
No,
you understand?
Yeah.
It was a terrible flood. Yes, Funsho Doherty has gone to the Lagos State Public Procurement Award books and opened up Lagos State. We will come back to Lagos State. But my concern is don't use Lagos State to distract the question.
Yeah.
Several worse states are in this equation. States like Osun that is richly blessed with gold and minerals. What exactly are the methods that these minings are happening? What is the involvement of state governors in Osun, for instance? Why are we now focusing alone on Lagos State? Lagos State has huge development. You can say they've inflated the amounts. We'll come back there. I didn't like the issue of the Commissioner for Budget who was explaining why they bought a bulletproof car from Lexus. And he did not know there were other bulletproof producers within the country. And also, what happened to the old cars in Lagos?
Exactly.
You know, we've always had these cars. According to him, he said it was for dignitaries. We can have dignitaries visiting and we will have to carry our high-profile guests in protected cars. But what happened to the ones that previous administration has bought? Why are we spending money like this across
Let me take
states?
this call from Mohammed. It's calling from Niger State. Thanks, Mohammed. You're live.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, sir.
How are you doing, ma'am?
Very well. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, we are grateful to Almighty God for most of the fine messages you are passing across in respect of transparency. If you look at the way things are going, everybody, most of the places you will see people, they will be claiming to be saints, but they are doing contrary in life. And that is not good enough. I want to tell you the issue of palliative you just mentioned earlier, and the fine example you gave in respect of something 20,000, and then somebody will now come up with 200,000 naira. For instance, now I'm a retired military officer. The government announced the issue of palliative, and some people somewhere they are there to frustrate the government. That is especially the presidency. For instance, now most of us in the military, we have not seen anything in respect of the palliative. You will just hear today, our constituency in issue of data is the military pension board. But you see today, they will tell us that they should come and fill form here, they should come and fill form here. We have not seen anything. And where people are suffering up and down. And that is all I have to do about the issue of transparency.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Somebody sent me a message at Morayo. Please note that every state has a budget performance report. So every state has their books. It's just that it's only in Lagos State that we have some who are going to be asking questions. But now we need more citizens across the nation within their states to ask questions of their governors. Because, yes, Mr. Doherty had started this conversation from Lagos State, but we're saying that there are books. So let's not pretend like there are no books across the nation. All state governors have to provide their own
Some books have
breakdown.
not been updated. That one
so
is a fact. So some states, yes, they all have books, but the period in review is the first 3 quarters or the last 3 quarters of the year. We're almost in December. We are looking at 2023 costs since post-election for states that have changed governors and those that have continued the incumbent one. What exactly are the spendings? Let's talk about state governments borrowing. They said all state governments borrowing increased to 988.48 billion to augment for FAC allocation internally generated revenue. 29 states now, all financial institutions and other government enterprise, 536.01 billion. And while borrowing from short-term and long-term borrowing from multilateral lenders such as the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, Afrexim, African Development Bank, by 33 subnational increased to 452 billion.
You can't accuse
Naira.
a subnational
So
from borrowing
these are
if government themselves are also borrowing.
Now,
Borrowing is not the problem.
See, the focus is subnational is what we are focused on in this article. And we're talking about states. Distraction is what you are calling Lagos State. Let me go back. The Punch also said Lagos State has the highest domestic debt of 200 billion, while Delta State has 70 billion, Oyo has 58 billion domestic debt. So, similarly, Delta State has the highest borrower from multilateral lenders to the tune of 71.45 billion in debts. Lagos follows with 51 billion, Akwa Ibom 27 billion, and Ogun 22 billion. So you are saying that we should now keep one state and distract other states, open textbook, open whatever books.
So we also have...
And let's be sure that they are updated for the 2023 year.
I have a call from Dr. Mo. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Yakub.
Good morning, everyone. I totally agree with Sister Lima. And then, yes, it starts from Lagos State. So I think the other state need to follow suit, and then Nigerian citizens need to know what this money they were borrowing up and down is meant for. Because we need to know. And then Sister Lima said something earlier that I really pick, because she has a question. What happened to the former cars and the SUV you guys bought in the last administration? Must you be buying car every year? In fact, next year now, they will still budget another money for the same thing. So what happened to those things? See, the Nigerian citizens, we have passed through a lot. Yes, we want to endure. You guys tell us that we should set our bets. Yes, we are this. Because if you go to market, see, there was a day I tried something that I would never try in my life again. I told my wife that I give you money for all these things. Why you buy this little thing? Do you know what the woman did? One day she not called me that, when you are coming back home, please branch market, buy those things for us. I go to market, I couldn't buy anything, I left. So we are passing through a lot of things, and then the government needs to open up to Nigerian citizens. Why must you buy SUV every year? You are telling us it for dignitary and all that. Good morning, and God bless you guys.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Mariam.
We have Karamun here. It says, good morning, ladies of your view. You see this thing called civil service or civil servants. They are the major corrupt will of government. Politicians come and go after years of being elected, but the civil servants have 35 years of service to show the way to others. Emmanuel says that Nigerians are too badly beaten to distinguish between rights and privileges. This person is saying that we are praising Lagos for publishing procurements fraught with irregularities and frivolities. Be aware the procurement website is not a Lagos initiative, as it's the World Bank funding to aid transparency. So this person is basically saying that, putting Lagos aside and saying, oh, because Lagos opened his books and is able to discuss that, that does not absolve it completely. That is something that is expected of any. So what we should do is call other states out as well to be able to lay their books out, and then we can talk.
So talking about how fixing Nigeria and trying to get everybody on the same page of transparency, because we have quite a number of other governors who are not that, we have opposition. We have other multi-party administrations right now in Nigeria. For example, Abia State is not PDP, is not APC, but the governor, Alex Oti, also reportedly, according to this report, spent 927 million on meals, welfare packages in 3 months, and only 25 million on public schools.
Which government do you just read?
This is Abia State, Alex Oti.
Okay.
Now, according to this report also, it said that he spent, in this Q3 and year to date, he has also spent 222 million on refreshments, meals, while 305 was spent on honorarium and sitting allowance for government officials within July and September. Now, as I said, these are all based on what we're seeing according to the various reports. But the point is that Nigerians, we're not going to fix Nigeria from outside in.
Yes.
Those of us, everybody, regardless of where you're from, whatever party, whatever group you belong to, it has to be from inside, us making an intentional decision. So you know what? Just because of the economic situations, we will not have these things. All the fact that you come to the government's house and you have to be given some kind of a drink. Right now, we don't have it. We can't give refreshment. Remember when Buhari resumed? One of the first meetings they had, They only had water.
Yes.
And,
That's
And a Nigerian brand for tea or something.
yeah, and they had a lot of these soft tom and everything. They didn't have the regular sweets. Usually you have like lots of...
But after a few years.
After a few years, I don't know, after a few years.
See, I like how you went to, how you know, finally ended it, because where you were going before, I was wondering where you were going to, but how you now let us, or made us understand that it's not about party. It's not a political party thing.
Yeah.
The hunger that is catching us is catching everybody, irrespective of what political party you belong in. Now, it's for Nigerians to unite and decide what they want and what they don't want, what they can afford and what they cannot afford. A governor in, I think, Osun State, they said they spent 2 billion on meals, welfare, runs office with 6 billion in 3 months. What did you do with 6 billion naira in 3 months? Do you have to eat when you come to the office? It's a business. I'm not going to, I have a small office. I'm not going to be hosting you when you come to my office. You're coming for business. We discuss and you go. I coach you and you go. You buy market and you go. I'm not going to offer you anything. It's business. So is that... What standards do we want to have for our workplaces? And that's why we see that sometimes people who are supposed to be doing the work are not doing the work because they are concerned with other extra things that are not supposed to be necessary. So we must speak. We must tell the government, we don't have enough money for all these largesse we're doing. We cannot afford it right now. We're not spending money on meals. Eat in your house, Uncle Governor, before you step out to go and do your work. If you want to do lunch, go on a break, go spend your money in the restaurant, eat your lunch or come back, or send your aides to get you lunch and then pay with your money out of pocket. Government can no longer provide lunch. Government can no longer provide coffee. Government can no longer provide perfumes. We must list out those things that are hindering our progress. I took in a newspaper today, a school in Abuja, FCT, they don't have chairs. They don't have a classroom. They don't have a blackboard. They are sitting very close to the dump site, and we are buying perfumes for office. Nigerians must sit up and ask the right questions. And we're also going to be demanding that every state, it's not just about Lagos State right now, every state is culpable and they must open their books. And before they are passing all of this budget on the things that they need, can we have conferences and meetings? Can we have stakeholders? Can we be alert at the time that these budgets are passing? Because I'm sure the budget for the next year, I'm sure they've already concluded it. And we don't know. Tomorrow we hear that we're buying 77 cars and the people did not know when this was entering.
Let me take this call from Daniel. Thanks for calling. David, you're live.
Who has done everything in Ogun State, Oshoba, did everything. At the end of the day, the other people that came, they did not do anything with the money. So these are terrible issues. These are things that one needs to be very careful with the way things are. When you see government is not doing anything for us. Government is not ready to do anything for us because before, when we were very young, just like what I was saying, if you see people like Fashola went to the university free of charge. I quote me. I am ready to put in. He went to the university free of charge. During our own time, we were eating in the school as day students in secondary school. The same thing applicable. Okay, Buhari now told us that students are eating in the secondary school only in the north. For what? So these are issues, these are terrible things. If we know what it means, the chairman of the local government, he has no priority over the secretary to the government, to the local government. But now, everything, all the politicians, they have gathered everything, they have made use of everything, and they are now telling us that nothing is going on. So what are we talking about? In this,
sometimes there's something you call political exigencies. These are things you have to do because to oil the system. Governors, they're politicians and they are professionals. They're different people. But politicians is a whole gamut of rules and ethos that guides what they do. And every politician that enters the system says, listen, I have to oil the system because politicians' goal is not just to govern, but it's to secure re-election. So it's one thing for you to govern, but you must ensure that the system is well oiled. So where we, from looking outside in, are thinking, why are they spending so much? But sometimes it's because you have to ensure there's money in the system to flow. If not, you're not going to.
In Nigerian parlance, you are saying stomach infrastructure. Yeah. It happens.
Yes.
And sometimes we have seen people who have lost positions because they decided to be Mr. Integrity or Mrs. Integrity and did not oil the wheel of the politicking part of it. And so that's why I said this calling out, we're calling out everyone, even us, we're calling out ourselves. So some of the things that we may see as frivolities, where does it end up? Is it ending up with you and I? Are we stopping by and collecting some monies as well? Yeah. Because, you know, we know this person and he's giving us a contract and we know it's inflated and all these things. So you, as a Nigerian in your different states, what role are you playing? Remember the former governors of Plateau State and Taraba State that were locked up for, you know, using up the ecological funds. And we know the state of these particular 2 states. Where did the money go? They did not sit down and eat it all by themselves. They didn't spend it on themselves. They spent it on some Nigerians as well. We called out the civil service earlier. We know the sort of things that happen at that level as well. You have elected Nigerian officials or government officials, appointed government officials, who will tell you that there are projects that they need to do, but they need to oil the political arm or oil some civil service. How do you think everything has a consequence? There's a cost for everything. There's no free money anywhere. So that money, if they were to sit down now and then we sit down, we're doing accountability, and they start knocking on your doors, are you ready as well? You know, it's not just the governors that are on stand here. It's not just the politically appointed on stand. All of us. But yes, that does not mean that we do not take away that they take the biggest blame for this, because we have put them in their position as to keep the integrity of that position. But there is a way we do business or governance here in Nigeria. We need to think about, is that what we want going forward? Are we ready to change that?
To change it, we must talk on. To change it, we must, you know, vet them. And I don't know how we killed the office of the Auditor General, because that's the person we should be holding. Each procurement comes before this person. Before you sign, have you vetted it?
Why are you talking like I'm not a Nigerian? The books will be clean to the T. What are you talking about? I will check. I'll make sure Miriam. Listen, if I want to give you a job, if I want to give Miriam, if I want to get a job, I'll get the best man for the job. Who can do it? He's well vetted. He knows the work. He has experience, and he's the right man for the job. He will do it, but with understanding that I have an interest. I brought you in, so this is the interest. Find out. Yes,
that
one is different.
Is a cost. That's the point, Morayo. Yeah. For instance, this case can cost 100 naira. Yes. As an auditor, I will not approve it, even though I know that it's supposed to be 100 naira. When somebody brings it for 200, even if you get the right man and he's giving you for 200, you as an auditor, you are the one we will tie your legs and hands together for making it 200, because we can still go to the market and cement will still be 6,000 naira. Some market figures are what they are. Cost of transportation down to the point is what it is. It is in our way.
I've been for 30 years. You think I don't know market women? You think I don't know suppliers who will tell you? What are you talking about? Even from China, I've discussed with them. I've secured it.
But your job is not to use my own market woman list now. Wait. Your job is to have your own market woman, your own general market woman that tells you the cup is 3 naira. It is not 6 naira. Okay. Well, your job is to know what the general price is.
3 naira. To shock you, that market woman.
Are we acting as if we're not Nigerians?
Two receipts. You want to go are you going to the market with your
Yes, now. Yes, now.
No, you're not going to the market.
How many people can you send on that? You have workers coming for cement. You have one coming for rods. Okay, they're having for. There's so many things. How many things?
As right as you are. That is why we're saying that we need to change the way we do governance. Whether we like it or not, this is how it's done right now.
Exactly. So the thinking has changed.
But we do know that the procurement office, they understand what they need to do. They understand the markets that they need to go to. They have access to these different vendors and things like that. You don't need someone to come and give you a price. Part of your job is to verify the different prices across board. But the truth is, Nigerians themselves, when dealing with government, do not want to do it that way. We don't want government to put out an advertorial saying that we want to give out this contract. Everybody come and give out. We want to go behind, pay somebody at the side so that they will give us.
No, I will do advertorial. What are you talking about? I will go through the books. Put all your rules and regulations. I will follow it to the T. Yes, I will put the advertorial out there. I will even call a meeting. Yes. I will do a selection.
Yes. But already
what are you talking about? It is you've been in 30 years. We have passed that level. I will bring Oyimbos from China.
Yes,
Come here. This is the thing. From the company, we sorted it out. We are good to go. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So it is us. You must decide as a people. What you say. We must decide as a people what we want. If we want to really fix this nation, everybody, as government is tightening belts, the tomato seller, everybody is tightening belts. And we are all saying, I'm not going to talk to my China person anymore. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to ensure that we get the value, the real value for what then we are fixing our country.
If we also reduce the things we pay for, it's also one of the ways that we can reduce some of these unnecessary costs and expenses. We pay for a lot. You need to see the list and the pro forma invoice coming from these offices. You will marvel. There's a lot. They are buying this, they are paying for this.
Yes,
they are paying
before.
If you government knock out all of those things, you have
Let me take this call from you. I'll come back to it. Peter, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, Morayo and the crew, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, I just want to thank you and also appreciate your studio for always, calling out and always doing the right thing. Morayo, I will appreciate if you don't cut me short. I just want to make a point this morning. Morayo, when I was in the Oceanic Bank at my lower level, let me just put it that way, I was privileged to be the assistant admin then. Just because my Oga was not that smart, so I was the assistant, but I siphoned money with that little opportunity I had that time. I thought maybe that was the normal thing. Maybe I want to make money just to, But after everything, after Oceanic Bank, was acquired by EcoBank, today I'm still regretting that act because I now grew up and now have fear of God. Now I discovered that those things I was doing, I was just killing myself. Because tomorrow I'll have to give an account to God. Every time I took from that Oceanic Bank. And if I have that things, I'll have to return those things, like I'll do it. Morayo, if you people know half of what is happening in government today, you people will cry. Because what these governors are doing, ministers are doing, just to get things that their children will not be able to finish. There's no single governor that leaves office that's not a billionaire in between of 100 billions. They are not making it as a competition. That if you leave office, you don't have a state, you don't have all these things. If you're not wealthy. And children are beginning to grow up to have this mentality that, stealing money now is not the best. Look at the way the Yahoo boys, if we talk to any Yahoo boy on the street, they will tell you after the government, all of us are stealing money. If we continue this way, Nigeria will never move forward.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much. Yes. Comment on social media? Yeah. Yes, we just can't continue.
I admire that Peter was able to say this publicly.
Yes, that's what he has done. Yeah. We will always, what they call, the nature will find a vacuum or they will fill up a vacuum. You always, when there's a loophole in the system, we'll definitely find a way. We'll fill it in. So that was it.
I remember one of my very first jobs in a downstream oil sector. And they had done some deal with this person, and then he came and gave me money. I was like, why? Actually, he was sharing money across. I was like, what's this for?
Money for?
He said, then I was like, no, as per from just girl, well brought up. He said, look at you, foolish girl. You don't know it's where you are working, that's where you will chop.
That's why they
pay
call
salaries.
workshop.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why they work, now they shop.
No, workshop, what is that?
Workshop.
I had that opportunity when I was working, I think when I was in High TV. So many examples. Soyin Suba was my boss, and there was a particular church that the girl, I won't mention the church's name, it still exists, a big church. They called from Abuja. They tried to do a deal with me. That you tell when my boss calls, and when this is what you see, the figure you say, and this is what I want to say. Unfortunately, I was a just girl, innocent girl. So she called me, like, my boss is going to call you. Please say this figure was what we agreed. Of course I did. First time I called Tony Subai. I said, sir, this is what she told me to do. He now called her boss. He should not know that my boss knew her boss. And then she got sacked. Whoa. Because you cannot be doing, because it was my own decision. I could have made money. Same thing happened with a big brand that was offering me so much money. I will never forget, $25,000. That was plenty years ago. Say, Morayo, these are the numbers. You have to decide that no. It was based on that situation, that my boss at the time gave me an official, because then I wasn't entitled to an official. I said, just because you are true, you are legit, because I investigated and I realized that you are true, we're going to give you this vehicle. We as a people must decide, one individually, collectively, that we want to fix it. Because if we keep complaining, Lagos did this, Washington did this, you are wasting your time. They will do it in Taraba, they will continue to do it. But everybody as a human being must decide.
We have a few Nigerians that are honest, and they will not do it. And what happens?
But they're the minority.
We frustrate them out of office.
God bless you.
We curse them. We shame them. When they come home, you were there 4 years, you could not bring anything. See your mates. We are the ones who. And then we complain. That's another person. So everybody chops, but you chop at your level.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And the next person is waiting for an opportunity to get there so that they will chop at a higher level.
No,
we
more
need
than
to change our mindset. We need to ask ourselves, do I put my personal interest first, or do I put the interest of the nation first? And now check how many more years, to what end? At the end of the day, who will it benefit more, me or the people? Yeah. How would I look? We go to places like Singapore and we're excited. We see how everything is beautiful. We are wishing our country to be like that. But the work they did, are we ready to do the work?
It took human beings to
do that work.
Individual human beings to make the right decisions always. And now more than ever, you know that saying that says when you're pointing a finger at someone, there's 4 pointing back at you. And so concerning many of these financial irregularities in our government, we need to also look at ourselves. When we see a problem, look at yourself and find out the part that you played in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sadly,
I think that's a very good way
Nigerians are
to go ahead.
listening to these figures flying around and see, oh, this plenty money when it go touch me. That's the painful part. All this plenty money,
yes, my turn.
why you no touch me? The grievance is not, why are we not seeing it in development? Why, some is just, why didn't I get directly?
National cake,
so we have these security agencies who should be probing and, you know, doing the right thing, following the money to the, and if they can't find it, take it to court. And they're all sleeping on this. It's just painful.
Sharing money with Boko Haram.
Because
Okay,
yes,
that is all we can take on today's show.
money.
But I think, in a nutshell, what Nigerians are saying is that if we are saying renewed hope, it must trickle down and permeate to every sector of society, every strata of governance, from the legislature to the executive, to the judiciary, to the local government, to the state government, to the federal government. Everybody must really believe in this renewed hope, and part of which is tightening up our belt. And we must see that in the numbers we're seeing in the state. I think that's what really Nigerians are talking about when it comes to how we are dealing with the recklessness, the financial recklessness of our governors. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.